Okay, mic should be on. Everything appears to be fine dandy. Text is this, that. There we go. My friend on board. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Right, we're back for some more Ace Attorney. Now it's back to the investigation part of the game again, but it should be for the last time. Oops.
I mean, it's a two-parter, but we'll see.
It probably shouldn't be. We'll find out in a minute. We're close.
I feel like if we were not editing stuff, that it would cut to the two-part now.
Probably. Yeah, if I did bother with that, yeah, I'd be going ham with the editorial styling. But that takes time and effort, and that can't be asked to do. If I started that way, maybe. Taking out this side. Oh wait, no, it was the other half of the trial. Shit, what are you talking about?
No. I thought oh yeah! Shit!
Yeah, it's like, oh right, we only did half a trial. I thought we were doing the other. Oh, whatever. We'll probably get there.
Yeah,
anyway.
it's like I totally was in the same brain as you.
We'll get there anyway.
Dude, can't believe that. Alien? No way. Not couldn't collect the entry entries.
As your manager, it would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to the knife you used at dinner was, well, her.
So, why was the ceremony during the break? Huh? I was sleeping like a log the entire time.
See, she could have also easily planted that blood-covered button in your hakama.
Cause she was the one that came to wake me up. Dude, just saying it really was her?
Yes, she is the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Corrida.
But why? Which was not with Juan.
She has her own agenda.
Her own agenda? What are you talking about?
I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial's over. It'll be alright. I'll get you acquainted by the end of the day.
Give me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze. Okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude? Phoenix. You think a lot of this related to Celeste and Peck's missing suicide note, right?
Yes. Miss Andrews depended on Miss Impacts as her strength and reason to live. But then Miss Impact suddenly killed herself. It sounds like she left a suicide note, and the person thought to have hidden it.
Is Juan Corrida the victim of this murder?
And that's why I think that Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Corrida. All to get the suicide note back.
That sounds plausible. But one thing bothers me.
What?
Who was it that first told us about the relationship? Better stated, Miss Andrews' dependency issue with regards to Miss Impact.
Was Edgeworth?
Looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down yet. What will now reconvene? Under Mr. Edgeworth, if you please. The prosecution calls the witness
Subpoenaed.
subpoenaed by this court. So,
It's a weird word.
yeah. Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Juan Corrida's room. What is your occupation? I'm the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Matt Engard.
Finally, a straight
see.
answer.
Now then.
Like, straight up.
This is probably like the least weird witness Edgeworth ever called.
And had to deal with. It's like, finally, someone who gives a straight answer.
Yeah. Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request. Yes, sure. What is it? I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing, and would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently. No, I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Gossipland.
If the judge was ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all my work for me.
Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation to the victim. Yes, I was seeing Miss Corrida. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan. But this was a private matter between Juan and myself. So it was a fine bait matter. Or was the bitten fry? Reminds me of fishing.
Fish and chips.
But I didn't kill him. No one is accusing you of that.
Well, I might.
I think there's someone who would beg to differ.
See?
I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews. Very well then. Witness, please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place. It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room, and there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was naturally the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice.
Yeah.
You poured yourself a glass of juice?
Not that you already had it in your hand. You specifically poured a fresh glass after witnessing a body.
Yes, sadly I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of a crime. And I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing. And on one hand, it's like a little bit weird, but on the other hand, I also probably be like, what the hell do I do? Panic, so.
Oops, sorry.
I see.
Sorry about that. Just click. It would be more realistic to just said that she already had the glass when she entered the room or something. I don't know. That's more believable than just, oh, pour me a fresh glass after witnessing a corpse in front of my eyes. It's like, who does this?
Yeah, but then I was like, I don't know how I would act because you are in shock and you do stupid stuff that you probably afterwards don't even really recollect anymore.
Pouring myself a glass is the last thing I'd be doing. I'd be calling the cops. I'd leave the room. I wouldn't just sit there and drink a glass. She didn't even drink it. She just poured it.
Yeah. Yeah, but on the other hand, like, I just don't think it would, like, calling the cops would be the first thing. Probably the first would be, like, going up to the boy, like, holy shit, are you really dead? Because he was just strangled.
Stabbed. What are you on about?
Yeah, right. Sorry.
Are you speaking in advance?
Oh. I just got things mixed up. Don't cross-examine me.
I will.
I'm not on trial here. Well, Mr. White, you may cross-examine the witness. Phoenix. She's one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match.
Yes, I know.
In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontation. You should disrupt her pacing.
Disrupt her pacing?
She's the type of woman who is easily thrown off by thinking things inconsistent with her thinking. So you have to attack where she least expected. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over. Understand?
I get the feeling it's all based on the glass, isn't it?
Yeah, apparently you should press the third statement about the dead body because it will make things easier.
Alright. You were in shock.
What? Was I not supposed to be?
Miss Andrews is a very calculating person. Despite how close they were, I thought she had romantic feelings for Mr. Corrida.
Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock. And you can seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked.
Somehow, I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not.
I see.
I think the point being is that you're weaponizing that little statement.
Yeah. Okay, then press 5.
So this is... Juice?
Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself.
Yes, nothing else. But you didn't drink any of it, did you?
Huh?
Well, there were no lip marks left on this wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it.
I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down before drinking it.
Miss Andrews, I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Juan Corrida, you were in great shock, and that's when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct?
And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time.
Your mind was a complete blank? I didn't think that was possible for you.
Aren't you rude today? I was the taste that I made one careless mistake. That one thing.
What one thing?
Never mind, it's no big deal.
What was she starting to say just now? Well, you gotta press that shit.
Yeah.
Miss Andrews, I'm convinced that, as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was.
Actually, so would I. I'm sorry, it's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over.
This changes everything.
Flower vase? Are you talking about the one on the floor in the crime photo? This mess of glass shards. It was originally on top of the dresser. But when I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell into the guitar case.
That's how it got wet.
Why did you withhold such an important piece of information? I'm sorry, I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess.
Well, it was, but now we know the context, but that changes how the incident happened.
It looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you have to reveal to your testimony. I'm sorry, but I've nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else.
Where's my doubt button? I hadn't set that up either.
I was the one who knocked the flower vase over, where it fell onto the guitar case.
Yeah, and?
Yeah. So, you can present the guitar case, because if you go to the evidence,
I don't see how there's a contradiction here.
well, it was only on the top of the guitar case, but it's open when you look at the crime photo.
That's... Oh, this explained... Okay. There's like brains unraveling. It's like, well then where's the guitar? Why would you need to open it?
I actually don't know what happened to the guitar anymore.
You testified that you knocked the flower vase over. Is this correct?
Yes.
And are you sure it fell onto the guitar case?
Is there some problem with what I said?
It's not some problem, it's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what is so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, if that was true, the case should have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside.
That's very true.
Furthermore, there is one other strange thing about this guitar case.
And what is that?
Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor.
And what's wrong with that?
If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shard should be inside, not outside the case.
Huh? What is your point, right? The case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over. Is that all?
No. Think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else.
Yes, that is right. She did implicitly say she didn't touch the guitar case. But this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all.
Okay, well that brings to question what's in the case in the first place. That may very well be. However, the empty guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case, doesn't it?
It seems that there is no deeper meaning to the guitar case. Like we just caught the witness lying. Can we not question this further? Hello? Well, Mr. White, do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case?
Yes. Anything. Yeah. We gotta grab everything we can. The empty guitar case. I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle.
I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this. But it is you.
Can't believe I'm doing this either.
Alright, I will follow along. For now, Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case. I really do like how Andrews is written in this, where he's not the same prosecutor just to get a guilty verdict, but he's also still Andrews, like, might as well get chips at Phoenix while I'm doing it. Yes, Your Honor. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. Why I opened the case, even I don't know.
You didn't open it.
Looks like this really wasn't a very important point. This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling by now that it's almost confronting.
Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination.
Using any way to change the topic, a convenient escape for a weak man.
Is this an English exam? Alright, so I'm assuming it's got to do with her opening case. She didn't do it.
Yeah. You can look at the guitar case.
I mean, it specified that it's got Corridor's fingerprints on it, so she didn't open it.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, so okay.
I was paying attention. It's just I blank on the evidence after a day.
Yeah. Well, 2 days, because...
There is no way you were the one who opened the guitar case.
Why would you say that?
It's elementary, my dear. What am I, Sherlock Holmes? Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case are those of the victim.
What is it, Miss Andrews? You shouldn't assume that I must have left prints just because I touched the case.
What is it? You're one of the rare few people who don't leave fingerprints, even though that's not how that works.
I found them off in a chemical accident.
It's either you can't actually outright remove your fingerprints, it doesn't work like that, or even if you don't have fingerprints, you still leave a mark.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
If I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time. Gloves? But why would you be wearing gloves at the time? It was the night of the award ceremony, so of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, I remember. And most she was wearing a pair of thin gloves. I see. Well, Mr. White, it seems the witness was wearing gloves at the scene of the crime.
I'm like rattling around. It's like, I can acknowledge that, because she could have been wearing a particular outfit. But I'm not sure whether to label it as strange or not.
That's strange.
You were wearing gloves. Isn't that a little strange?
Why is that strange? Do you have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at the time?
Kinda. I got the photo, but I'm not sure. I mean, that is the argument, but I'm not sure if this is going anywhere.
If you go to the wine class, this is how music you have to.
Is Andrews? Oh yeah, of course. Like I'm thinking the right way, but not quite right.
Yeah.
I have your proof right here. This wine glass.
The wine glass.
You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case? Some cheap glasses, that is.
That's what she has to be left then. Order! 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 Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time.
What do you mean?
I believe the guitar case plays a very important role here.
But it's just an empty case.
I wonder if it really was empty though.
But the guitar, the bright red guitar was at the studio.
Phoenix, stop all of your presumptions. What was in the guitar case was not the bright red guitar.
You don't mean it was a bright white guitar? Wait, that's not right either.
I admit it would be unnatural for someone to do that. So, the witness was not wearing gloves despite the fact that on the case... Yeah, Anna, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. See the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us all into his misguided...
No, Your Honor. Please recall that Ms. Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. However, it is wide open in this photo of the crime scene. I'm sure this guitar case has some relation to the murder.
If you are so sure, right, then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? Please, enlighten us all to why that guitar case has anything to do at all with this murder. When you do that, Mr. White?
Well, let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in the case.
The bright red guitar not being the only thing? You don't mean to suggest that... How can black be bright? So, you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty. Is that it, right?
I wouldn't say something I didn't intend to prove.
Deflated head of yours. You haven't proven anything yet. Now then, let's have it. What was inside this case at the time of the murder?
Let me think. I mean, the only thing that's not been accounted for is the Nickel Samurai's outfit, right? I don't actually know where that is right now. But
yeah, it is the you can present Loda's photo, or I don't know where the outfit right now is.
yeah, it's like I don't know what else I can use to represent the outfit, so I'll just use the photo.
Yeah. This is a photograph.
Yes, but what is important is what's in that picture, Your Honor.
In this picture?
It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I'm proposing is, inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume.
What? Mr. White, explain yourself. Alright, are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What an insane point would there be to doing something like that?
That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she could make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews?
I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea?
Let's bring up the photo again. Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct?
You mean this photo? Order! It looks like we've wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we? Nice job, Phoenix.
Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later.
So the real murderer was hiding inside a costume. Wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Matt and Guard. Why would something of the defendant be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case of all places. That is a little baffling. Mr. White, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was this Nickel Samurai costume doing inside the guitar case?
He stole it. They were rivals. He was probably doing it as a prank. I think it may have been stolen from Mr. Engard.
Stolen? But why would someone do such a thing?
Maybe the thief wanted to interfere with the post-ceremony stage show. And so, if he didn't have his costume, then Mr. Engard would be forced to go naked. It's a little far.
Maybe you should be stripped naked and run out of making a mockery of this court.
Excuse me?
Mr. Matt Engard did not take his costume off after the award ceremony. He even testified that he took a nap while still wearing his costume. That must be really uncomfortable.
Wait, that raises even more questions then.
Is this not correct?
Yeah, he did say something like that, didn't he? Hang on, that raises more questions of how the hell the costume got out of his possession then.
Yeah, I'm thinking way too hard right now.
But that is the direction we're going.
That one time, shall we, Mr. White? Mr. White, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was this Nickel Samurai costume doing inside the guitar case?
Mr. Engard did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we're talking about was a spare one.
What? Then, are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai's costumes at the Gatewater Hotel?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And how do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case? would mean that the victim himself brought the spear to the ceremony on purpose. But why? The victim, Mr. Korida, was the charming ninja. Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai spear costume with him? What could be the reason behind such a peculiar act?
And therein lies the sticking point.
What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue?
Huh? No, I just...
Mr. White, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Samurai spear costume? Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? Think carefully before you answer. And then answer with gusto. I believe in you.
Alright. This is what I think. The reason the victim brought the Nickel Samurai's spare costume to the hotel was... I don't know.
The press conference ticket.
What the conference?
Because Nightingale did not know about it.
Okay, whatever. Roll with it.
What is this?
On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference.
A press conference?
Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at the conference.
I heard about this as well. For once you're not making something up, right?
But what struck me as strange was that Mr. Engard himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night.
But how can that be?
The way I see it, that can mean only one thing. The conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Corridor himself.
The victim?
Yes. The spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Corridor was going to hold a press conference as the Nickel Samurai.
He was going to dress up as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference. But why would the victim do such a thing?
That's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I am concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at the conference.
The Nickel Samurai was going to confess something. And by confess, I would wager he was going to reveal something about himself.
Which means that Juan Corridor, posing as the Nickel Samurai, was going to speak about Matt and Guard.
Yes, I guess that this what it would mean. But if that's the case, that's not a confession, that's public disclosure. Huh. Miss Andrews? I can see why you're proud at what you do. Pardon me? Yes, just as you said, the press conference was set up by Grant. Miss Andrew, please offer us an explanation for this. I was the one he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him, that was also me. You! One had bet everything on the Jamming Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought anyway. He was going to warn him. Huh. It looked like somehow Juan had his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed.
What?
And do you know what the secret of Mr. Guards is, Miss Andrews? something only Ron knew. I don't know what it is. Oh, I see. I've been probably coming off quite suspicious to everyone. But that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt, after all.
Protect Mr. and guard?
And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could please tell us the truth about your behavior. Yes, Your Honor, I understand. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Ron no matter what, and he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course, the button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him. This does account for everything. Well, I am the logical type. You're finally seeing her true self. She's more nervous than a scared rabbit. If the defense can find no fault with the testimony, I am ready to make a ruling. Please keep that in mind as you cross-examine Mr. White.
Like somehow everything has swung to the opposite end of the scale again. That just means I have to put my weight into this and turn the logic upside down.
Present the first statement.
You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage.
Then, what about the button?
Button?
It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and his murderer fought. And during the fight, the killer ripped the button from the jamming ninja's costume. You are talking about this button, correct? That button was found in the pleats of Matt's Nakama, isn't that correct? I would think that makes it very decisive evidence.
Ugh.
Looks like you were outfoxed again, Mr. White.
Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony.
I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat.
Thank goodness Mia can still look at me.
With an icy stare, yes. Mr. Andrews, for Mr. White's sake, please add this information to your testimony.
Yes.
Yeah, present the autopsy report on this statement.
So, where is it? Suicide. Here we go. Oh!
So it's the last thing.
On here or the next one?
On this, yeah.
Why'd you say last thing?
Oh.
Just like,
Yeah, sorry, I meant in the last thing that got added.
Yeah,
My
whatever.
brain makes sense to me, okay?
If you're playing the game, you follow the logic.
Yeah.
This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf.
Oh, it says it's a scarf. Niskel is fixed, but...
Oh, whatever.
Strangulation.
The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died.
And what does that mean?
Well, let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off the costume. When?
After the knife was stabbed into the victim,
Exactly, which means it is impossible that this button was torn off during the victim's final struggle, because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. That's right, Miss Andrews. There is no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. I mean, depends how it was affixed, but semantics. This button was consciously pulled off the victim's already dead body.
Order. What is the meaning? What is the meaning of this fight? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change?
Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve?
What purpose?
We know now this button was not torn off during the fight, so the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it?
Mr. White, does this mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with this button? What was it?
To have a memento of the crime.
I mean, people do this.
Yeah, but didn't keep it.
But it's more serial killers and not opportunity. I have, personal reasons for murder people.
I'm assuming it's to pin the crime, right?
Yeah.
It's redundant. There is only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. Engard. There is no way anyone would put a bloody button in their own pants. That's right, Mr. Engard was set up. By the real killer, of course.
And the real murderer is... Well, Mr. White, who in the world is the real killer then?
Finally. Can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point.
We can't let you cut down yet. Not at the very end.
Real killer. The person who planned to frame Mr. Engard is... So he's the only person we can pin the blame onto right now.
Yeah. It's Ashroff.
Miss Adrian Andrews. I choose you. You are Mr. Corridor's killer.
What? Order. Mr. White. This is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge?
Any evidence? All of the evidence points to Miss Andrews.
How preposterous, you can't stick any of that on me.
I can't, can I? Would you care to test me?
Then what about this knife?
Well, the knife was used to stab the victim after he had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. Engard, naturally. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room, and the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you.
Then... What about the button that was found in Akama?
This button was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. Engard was the real killer, there is no way he would have put such incriminating evidence in his own Hakama.
And was self-reported.
The only person who could have put this button into Mr. Engard's Hakama is the person who went to wake him from his nap, which is you, yet again, Miss Andrews.
I see. What about the empty guitar case?
That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. The costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the crime scene. Now, who could have known that there was just such a costume inside the guitar case? It could only have been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews.
No, But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case. And it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time. That's right.
That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found out that she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposely left her fingerprints on the glass to show that yes, indeed, she was the classic dazed discoverer of a dead body. And to top it all off, there is this photo. A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on Earth can believe this nickel samurai is Mr. Engard. He would be much too short for his own costume if it was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not?
Please, stop!
Stop it, she's already guilty! Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? I've got her this time.
Miss Andrews. I refuse to testify.
What was that?
There's a law. I can't be forced to testify to something if it can incriminate me. Well, yes. You are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination, by allowing a witness to not testify if the testimony can cause damage to themselves.
What?
Phoenix, you're a lawyer.
Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot.
It's like Phoenix, you should know about this.
Actually, think it back to yesterday in Mr. Engard's room.
Adrian Andrews. Yes. Think hard about what we just discussed. Understood? Alright.
That's it. That's when Francisca planted this idea into her head. She must have told Miss Andrews to not testify if things look bad.
Did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. There's still one thing you haven't done yet.
Something I haven't done?
That's alright. Are you finished already? Run out of evidence. What is so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless.
What?
Everything you have proven is circumstantial.
Circumstantial?
Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to provide a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact have a wish to murder Corrida.
Actually, a good point. We've all just been proving how she could have done it, but not actually the motive.
Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Corrida? I believe this may lead to me incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering.
But I need to do my thing. I can't do my thing if you don't...
But Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think?
I need to investigate your testimony. I can't do my thing if you don't...
Maybe so, or maybe not. There's nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence.
Oh! She's taking that defiant attitude again. Mia, what should we do?
Somehow, we've landed in the worst possible situation. I think I have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Miss Adrian Andrews has refused to testify, and the defense's theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully sustained with solid definitive proof.
But that's not true.
In this situation, there's only one thing this court can do, and that is to declare a recess.
Recess?
I request that both the prosecution and the defense look further upon this matter, like we do every other case. Phoenix, you should notice by now. At tomorrow's trial.
Tomorrow? We don't have a tomorrow. If we don't get a not guilty verdict today, then... Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial. Please continue the trial.
What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he?
That's not it. This isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya...
But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Noted, this court is... It is not impossible for this trial to continue. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you... It's true, Miss Interest holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation is something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she had no right to withhold testimony. Yes, that is very true, but... Actually, there is one little thing that I am curious about. Miss Entworth, when you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes, and... I can't help but think how unnatural that is.
Thank you. Someone was gonna say it. Unfortunately, it wasn't me.
Usually when one finds a body, they are shaken up, but giving a glass of juice. So, my actions were unusual, but I've already... Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect. Testify? Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again, as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever I find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness.
Hey, it's just a glass of wine. What could go wrong there?
I don't know what it is about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read of him. Is he friend or foe? I just don't know. The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please. That glass of juice. I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw the dead messy state. And well, he was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over.
What, and seeing the knife sticking out his chest wasn't a big red alert?
No. So you poured the glass of juice for the victim. Why didn't you say so in your earlier testimony? I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial.
It's a better explanation than what you gave earlier.
Phoenix, please be careful here. You can't find anything wrong with this testimony. Then there's nothing left. Yeah, you should have notice the
Yeah,
thing that's wrong.
the
It's like...
lacking knife. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours?
No, then, Mr. White. You may begin your cross-examination.
No, it's about the knife. So which one is it?
It's 4, 5, or 6.
Oh wow, there's a lot of options.
Also, it's the crime photo, not the knife.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, but this is like that. They have been, in the second game, they have been getting better at that you're not only allowed to present it on one statement.
The knife is relevant to what we're talking about here, but no, it's got to be the photo, not this one.
Yeah, but not Lotta's photo, yeah.
I mean, yeah, this one's more relevant, but we know the context of where the knife came from, so the knife should be a valid option. So you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him?
No, not at all.
Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body.
What is the meaning of this?
Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There is a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Corder's chest. Anyone who saw this scene would have immediately thought that there was a dead man.
You see?
I doubt a single person in the world would mistake this for someone who fainted, and then so nonchalantly to go pour something to drink.
Your point is...
Miss Andrews, your testimony just now, it was all one giant lie. And your lie has proven one thing very clearly, that you are the real killer.
No! It looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Matt Enkart, is not guilty after all. That's impossible, you're wrong. Miss Andrews, try to have some composure. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt, I swear it. He's the one who killed Ron.
You know, if you started with this, maybe we would have been more keen to listen to you. But you were the one who refused to testify, and your reason for not doing so was that you might end up incriminating yourself.
That's because... Miss Andrews, I'll give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you? I refuse to testify. Then there's no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Matt Enkart's innocence has been clearly demonstrated.
Is it over? We found the truth at last?
What's wrong, Phoenix?
Usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt. And now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't.
Now then, I would like to hand down my verdict for Mr. Matt Enkart. Your Honor. The prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time. What? The reason is quite simple. This witness is yet to speak the absolute real truth.
Edgeworth, you know how to drag it out.
That's what Phoenix said. The absolute real truth. What are you? Witness, don't you understand yet? I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Matt Enkart will go free, and in his place, you will become the guilty party. That's a lie. I don't believe you. What? I was told if I smoked and it would be all over and Matt would never be declared guilty.
What in the world is she talking about? Has she lost it?
I can't speak about it. I'm too scared. It's Franziska von Karma.
Huh?
Don't you remember Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly onto the voice of others. Because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself.
Then, right now, Miss Andrews is...
Yesterday she was tossed a lifesaver by Miss von Karma. Don't say a word, no matter what happens. If you do, I think God will be acquitted. Miss Andrews undoubtedly believes in those words right now, and is clinging onto them.
Then, what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across anything like this. But Miss Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is get our not guilty. That's my only priority.
It wasn't me, I'm begging you. Please, believe me. I didn't kill Juan. Help, please. Somebody, help me. Is there anybody? Help. Need someone. Mr. White.
Needs a hug.
Uh,
Yes, Your Honor?
if God can continue on like this, therefore I would like to hear what you intend to do.
What I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say?
White, I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what this witness did and what she did not do. And think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime.
Who's the real mastermind? Isn't that obvious? There's no one else who it could be except the woman crying right over there. Right?
Come now, what will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Phoenix White?
Also to testify? What?
It actually doesn't.
It doesn't
Matter.
matter. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna make a save anyway. Okay. But instinctually I'd say force her to testify to prove proper innocence. I have to win a complete acquittal today. There's no way around that. But I can't bring myself to do it like this. Not when she's making a face like that. Miss Andrews, I would like to know what you are really hiding.
Mr. White, are you sure you know what you're doing?
Sure, Mr. Engard would get an acquittal, but in his place, you would be found guilty. Is this how you really want this trial to end?
Be quiet, how dare you? You're trying to trick me. That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it's clear that the defense theory is the truth. You're wrong. What a shame. I'd hoped things wouldn't have come to this, however. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refused to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court. Stop! Mr. Edgeworth. This witness, how should I put this? He has an illness. What?
He has the case of the stupids.
And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past. Stop! Please stop! No matter how much you want to hide it, it is no use. I have the evidence right here.
Ooh, can I have a look at that?
That's... I think you have.
That's the second part of the suicide report. the attempted suicide report. I feel like I'm repeating myself there.
What will you do now, witness? You know what I'm about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews.
The secret of her dependent nature. Having other people know about it scares her more than anything else in the world.
Please stop! I beg you. If people find out, I'll... You're going to say you will choose death. It is of no concern to me.
Besides, it would prove the argument anyway.
I mean, I know what Edward is doing right now, but... Yeah.
Edgeworth, how could you be so cold?
However, before you die, I will put the truth from your still breathing lips. No matter what I have to do. So, will you tell the court yourself or shall I? Either is fine with me.
Can't blame Edgeworth, he gets fucking results. He knows it's harsh, but it's like, it's the only way forward.
Yeah, it's like he's saving her from herself and has to play the villain up a bit, but dog, but please help me. Nothing matters anymore. And I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted, honestly. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure that there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. And then I tapped Pan's dead body with the knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. That's why I ended up using the Nickel Samurai's costume. Stabbed the body with the knife? But why would you do that? Isn't it obvious? To pin the blame on a certain person. A certain cowardly man. What? What do you mean by all of this? It might take this court a little bit to understand, but this is the truth. The real killer is Matt. The scumbag of a man. I will never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again. Just like last time.
Last time?
So, Miss Andrews stabbed the victim, Juan Gurida, in the chest with the knife. However, she didn't do it with murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt and God for the murder. And this is her crime.
Well, it changes things. What? How is this possible? I mean, wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer?
Mr. White, please get over your shock and commence the cross-examination.
You're tired of your overreactions. There's a couple of areas we can get more info out of.
Yeah, so you have to just press every statement.
Every statement, okay. But you could tell from the state of the room was in that there must have been a fight. Are you telling me the truth when you say that you did... Oh, sorry, misphrasing. Are you telling the truth when you say that you did not know he was dead?
He had a scarf to the around his neck. But that scarf is part of the Jamming Ninja's costume, so I didn't think anything about it was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. I thought I would wake him up and pour the juice.
What is this plan you had?
I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because one was going to expose Matt's weakest weak point to the world. So Matt did this to stop Juan and silence him for good. That's when I thought I should forge some evidence and then describe Matt. So, the first pieces of evidence were the knife and the button. The first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife.
That was so you could get the knife, correct?
The knife Matt used at the dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their heads towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime. And then
Not yet.
it runs. Oh, yeah.
Not yet. So, you were the one to stab the victim with that knife?
It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did.
I'm trying to picture like how difficult it is to stab a knife into the body like that. I do have a picture of a Maple Samurai.
Yeah.
Oh, thing. I wanted to get another look at the crime photo. Yes, that's like above where you, on the right side as well. That's right by your collarbone. That ain't gonna stick in easy.
Yeah, it's like, you like it, but then it's like pretty much like 50-50 being hit a whip or not.
It was like it will puncture, sure, but it's not gonna go that far in.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
technically the
you
knife
had
didn't.
to do this with conviction, but
You've got to
yeah.
really push. But yeah, the knife didn't actually go that far in to be, quote, lethal. So, picked a terrible spot to do it.
At the time I couldn't get on our body, it moved on its own.
Oh god.
And when I stepped towards that body, I suddenly realized something. If I used the button somehow, I could make Matt look even more suspicious. So he thought on to rip out one of the buttons off and then plant it in Mr. Guard's Hakama. Yes, that's what I had planned to do. But things never got that smoothly, do they?
And inconvenience?
There was a woman with a camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway.
I'm willing to bet my spikes it was Lotta.
There was also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth.
That's Miss Holbeck for you.
I had already been caught and made the big scoop for a certain weekly tablet once, so I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again.
You were the one who prepared that costume, weren't you?
Yes, I took it from Global Studios. I also put it into Tran's guitar case the day before the award ceremony. You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct? Yes, Ron wanted to wear that costume until the press conference in May. He was going to disclose Matt's biggest secret there. And what is the secret? That I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave Ron's room, the little samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume. I think we've heard enough. So, after that, you went back to Mr. Guard's room and planted the button. Into Matt Hakama, yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. Then I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it. My word, what does all this mean? Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt and Guard. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat down for me at all.
Siska, huh?
She said that I should under no circumstances confess to what I had done. That if I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but believe in her words. What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain she's not the real killer.
Wait, Your Honor, the defense still...
Right. It's pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indicate Miss Andrews on anything. Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. The cross-examination of this witness is over, and so is today's trial. You couldn't establish that the witness was the culprit. Please let it go, Mr. White. Let it go, let it go.
But did...
Mr. Edgeworth, please place Miss Andrews under arrest for further questioning. Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately. That is all. Court is adjourned for today.
Today's trial. It's over. I didn't win an acquittal.
Witness, would you mind if I asked you something?
Edgeworth?
What is it? Before you leave court today, I wonder if I might look at one thing. The card in your hand. It had my interest for quite some time now.
Finally!
What exactly is it? Oh, this. Mr. White also asked about this. Although I didn't remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. White. I remember just now, I found this in the room on that day.
Oh, you just happen to have forgotten where you found it. The room?
That day. Yes.
How do you forget such a critical piece of information?
I don't know. I found this card when I discovered Grant's body. It was lying there right next to him.
You found that card next to the victim's body?
Rosen must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. But it's not as if this card has any relevance to Juan's murder, right?
You've taken out a piece of evidence on the scene of a murder. You can't just...
I disturbed lots of things on this murder scene, to be fair.
It doesn't matter. It was a piece of evidence that was in the room at the event. It doesn't matter about relevancy. Yeah. It's still part of the scene.
Yeah, no. Like, it just making a joke that, no, oh, I disturbed so much for this one little card now.
You tipped over the vase, you put a glass of juice there, and you stole a card. My God, you're terrible at this.
You're worse than Maya.
Yeah, I guess not. but it's still a strange card if you ask me. As far as a clue to this case, I don't see why...
Witness! That card! Give it to me! Hurry!
Edgeworth?
Do you have any idea what you have stupidly yet inadvertently done? This... I can't believe you hid this from me all this time. I didn't mean to. What is this all about?
Never seen Edgeworth so emotional before. That card. What in the world is it? What does it mean? Find out next time! I'm gonna need to rename the stream because of this. I thought we were doing investigation. I'll have to change that now. Oh well.
Oh yeah.
Stupid me, not thinking far ahead enough. I thought too far ahead.
Yeah, same. I was on the exact same thing.
Alright. I'll do for a stream. Thumbnail preview.
Yeah. And I forgot to mention this in the beginning. I will not be here tomorrow because of team event at work.
Of course you do. Well, I hope we make it to finish the game next week then. Fingers crossed, because we'll have to push the boundaries here.
Yeah.
Alright, let's check back on Monday for more Ace Attorney. We're really close. Alright, till then, bye all.
Bye.
How dare you?
Sorry.
We were having a running streak here, man. Alright. Close. Please press the options button. Oh, it's getting tighter and